Retro Media Talk Podcast with your hosts, Steve and Steve. Awesome.
Hey guys, welcome to Retro Media Talk Podcast. Today we're checking out another 80s classic comedy from 1980. So Steve Lego's on, and I'm Steve Montgomery, and we're going to talk about this 1980s classic. It's actually a cult classic. It kind of didn't do so well in the theater, but it has gained a lot of cult status. And we're going to talk about one of my favorite 80s comedies, The Hollywood Knights. Now, I don't know how Steve feels about this movie. I know how he said his dad feels, but I'll let him tell the story. But The Hollywood Knights came out, I don't have the exact date.
1980.
Yeah, it was 1980. I guess it don't matter about the month. But, however, the thing about The Hollywood Knights, a lot of people, you know, if you're listening and you're like, what the hell is The Hollywood Knights? Well, The Hollywood Knights kicked off a bunch of stars' careers. And, you know, everyone from Michelle Pfeiffer, Tony Danza was in Taxi, but this was his first film debut. You also had, what's his name? There was a...
Robert Wuhl.
Yeah, Robert Wuhl. He was a stand-up comedian. What did I say? Comedian? Yeah, Robert Wuhl was a stand-up comedian. This was his first feature. He was actually not a... Well, he wasn't a famous comedian, but he hung out with he was friends with Robin Williams and Rodney Dangerfield. He said he didn't even read the script or anything, but he did a lot of ad-libbing in this film, and his comedic genius really shows in this movie. And you know, dude, I don't know, this director Floyd Mutrux
Yep.
He didn't do that much. I mean, you know, he did stuff, but he didn't have like a lot of... I thought he'd have a lot of films, you know. He's got a lot of credits, but he didn't direct a lot of films. I was surprised, because I thought well, I'll get to the movie in a second, but anyway, that's the basics. You got Fran Drescher.
Fran Drescher?
She got
the
her...
nanny.
Yeah. She got her start on this, too. And there's a couple other guys. The nerdy guy. He was the... Did you know the Dudley? But his actual name...
Stuart Pankin?
Yes. He was the oldest. Did you know that?
Yes.
Yeah, I was like... that's funny, man. I did not know he was the oldest.
He'd been in a lot of stuff, I think, prior to that.
Yeah, he was like
to that movie.
One of the seasoned actors, I guess, right? Or something?
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay, so he was in a bunch of stuff from Barney Miller, BJ and the Bear, I don't know, the San Pedro Beach Bums. That was a series? I didn't even know. Anyway, some other stuff, but not a whole lot before Hollywood. I mean, TV stuff, you know. It was all
right.
TV stuff, it looks like. I know that your dad, you said that your dad, this was one of his favorite films.
Yeah.
So I want you to tell that story, because I just think that's so awesome.
Yeah, no, I mean, I had never seen it, and I remember my dad, he had mentioned that one time, I said, he was telling my mom, the Hollywood Knights are going to be on, some station, you know, and I was like, what is that? And he goes, it's a great movie, blah, blah, blah. And I ended up seeing a little bit of it, you know, and it was a typical movie my dad liked. You know, he liked raunchy comedies where there'd be like there'd be like titties flashing and stuff like that, and people mooning and so it was like his typical like movie that he liked. But he for whatever reason that was like his his like his favorite comedy, that, and was right up there with Animal House, which he loved too. But he loved Hollywood Nights, and it wasn't very common to be played on TV. And I just remember that, I was somewhere and I saw it on DVD. I think it was like Suncoast Video. Remember, they used to have those in the mall.
Oh, yeah.
And I bought it and for my dad and gave it to him. And, just the look of, joy and, anticipation. You could tell he was like, yeah, I can't wait to, pop this baby in and watch it, because it had been so many years. So,
oh, wow.
Yeah, so he really loved it, it's his kind of comedy. It's older style comedy, but yeah, he loved to see comedies where chicks were, boobies were hanging out, and just dirty fraternity type jokes and stuff were going on.
Well, this came out that same year Porky's came out, and it kind of overshadowed it. Porky's became the big hit of 1980. As far as the teen sex comedies or whatever, that one, which I think Hollywood Nights personally is a funnier movie, but Porky's took the reins on that one. But one thing I loved about, let me tell you the first time I saw Hollywood Nights. It was over at our friend Cooch's, Steve Kirchkester, another Steve, third Steve. He was the only kid with HBO that we knew, but anyway, he was the first in the neighborhood. Of course, we all wanted to spend the night there, but I spent the night there, and his older brother would always check the HBO guide and find the dirtiest movies on HBO, and we'd all put the TV on, but we'd have a blanket over it. It was one of those old console TVs. Yeah. We'd have to shield the lighting in case his dad woke up, because it was a little ranch house, 3-bedroom. Of course, he slept with the door open. His mom and dad were pretty heavy sleepers, but the lighting could wake him up because their door's wide open. Yeah. But they always ran fans throughout the house. I remember there'd always be a fan. It don't matter if it was freaking wintertime, there was a fan going. So it cut out a lot of noise. But anyway, he said, "Oh man, there's a movie on, and you'd always look at the HBO guide and find out if it had nudity in it, right? So you'd be like, language, who cares, blah blah, nudity, yes." You didn't want to see brief nudity. Remember that one? Brief nudity. Ah, man, it's that was a bummer. So anyway, so we all waited till he's sound asleep, and then we met out there in the living room. It's we might have been sleeping out there, I don't know, but it was 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. We're all sitting under a blanket right in front of this big console TV watching the Hollywood Nights. Can't watch it in headphones, so you gotta have it sort of at a level, but luckily the fans were blocking some of the noise. But man, that was the first time I seen it. I loved it the first time I seen it, even though it was a pain in the ass to watch the first time. Somebody's on here going, what the hell is Hollywood Nights? It's basically about a car club gang called the Hollywood Nights, and it's a cross between American Graffiti and Animal House. That's how they kind of sold it. And and the Tubby's Drive-In, it's their hangout. It's the last night before they tear it down for these condos or whatever they're building. So it's Halloween. So it's one of the, it's just awesome that they did all that. When they wrote the script, they put it all on Halloween night. So it's just prank after prank after prank. And that's what the movie, it's just a nonstop prank fest, but with a subplot. So you got 2 subplots. You got Tony Danza kind of being a dick with his girlfriend. He's he's like jealous because she wants to become an actor, and that's Michelle Pfeiffer, which that was her first film role. Yeah. And she wants to try out being an actress, and he's all jealous and blah, blah, blah. So you got that little thing, and then their friend is going to Vietnam the next day. It's nonstop like comedy, but there's a little drama in there too. And then
very little.
Yeah, little. But then you have the other subplot with the 4 kids that want to join the Hollywood Knights, and they want to become a knight, and they have to do the initiation, so they have to strip down naked, and they're given 4 tires, and they got to go across town to the DJ. They got to go through some bad neighborhoods to the DJ and get a dedication on the radio to the Hollywood Knights and get back to Tubby's Drive-In before 2:00 to become a knight.
Right.
And one of my favorite scenes. Just to recap this one, when they're when they finally find some sheets, they find some sheets to wrap themselves in. Remember that?
Yeah.
And they're in a black neighborhood. They're
in the black neighborhood.
So, and he's banging the guy's banging his girl in the
living room.
Living room with the window open, lights on, and he's like, it's like I don't know if this is the exact phrase, but he's like, "Hey, baby, the Ku Klux Klan is here." And he goes, so they get chased out of there, and then they're running with those tires, and somebody had just stripped the tires off that one car, so they're still running with their tires, and that was funny. And then they're getting chased again because they thought they ripped the tires off of that car that just got the tires ripped off. I thought that was pretty funny. There's so much to dig in with this, but overall, what was your impression of the movie seeing it again?
Oh, it was good. It was funny. I hadn't seen it in so long that it was like watching a new movie. I'd forgotten like almost all of it, and it was just funny. It was constantly funny. I mean, it's dumb 80s comedy.
Yeah.
People today probably wouldn't enjoy the comedy because comedy's got to be probably more vulgar. Where this is just like this. A lot of it's just slapstick. There's some booby and mooning comedy. But
I love the mooning and stuff. People playing the teenagers. Right. Robert Wuhl, who plays New Bomb Turk, which is my favorite character out of the movie. He was 26, so they were all in their 20s, and like I said, that Dudley guy, he was in his 30s at the point, and they're all supposed to play high school kids.
So were all of them supposed to be in school, or were some of them out? I wasn't quite really sure what
well, you know what? I don't. That's a good point. Maybe not. Maybe some of them are supposed to be out. I didn't think of that.
They have like a pep rally, but that doesn't mean.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. They could have been.
But I don't.
Yeah, you're right.
So it was kind of gray on who was in school or if they weren't in school, but.
Of course, Fran Drescher must have been in school because she's dating that one guy that, throws the pipe in, after she's like, you're boring, whatever, and goes with New Bomb, and he puts that pipe in high school chicks.
Right.
Turns around. He's supposed to be older, obviously. But, so when I was younger, the part that stuck out the most, like out of any scene that I can remember, like, oh man, I want to see that movie again, after seeing it. But the one part that always stuck out was when they spiked the punch. And oh man, I just love that scene. And
don't drink the punch. Don't drink the punch.
Yeah.
Have some punch, and the people,
Yeah. But But the part where she's like what, community leader or something, and teacher.
Yeah, she's like,
I don't know.
Like she's like the head of like the I don't know, the housing association or something.
Yeah.
Whatever.
But she must have been a teacher too, right?
Yeah, she's the Beverly Hills Neighborhood Association. Like, she's in charge of that.
Okay, yeah. And the part where, so anyway, we'll just kind of set this up. They're having a little get together, celebrating this condominium, that they're gonna, these condominiums that they're gonna build and tear down. Tubby's driving. They're sick of Tubby's driving. The kids hanging out there. And they're having punch delivered, and New Bomb dresses like like one of the members of the party. So, and tells the caterer to leave the punch with him. He'll take care of it. Blah blah blah, and tells them to drive through the garden. There's going to be a new library. Don't worry about it. They're going to build a library called New Bomb Turk Library, so you don't have to worry about those flowers. Just drive right over them. And and that was pretty funny. But then they all get around and they pee in the punch. They deliver the punch. The lady, the community leader, which is she's cheating on her husband the whole time. Every chance they get, they're trying to have sex, and she's drinking the punch, and she goes, I have this taste in my mouth somewhere before. I've had this taste in my mouth somewhere before. I don't know about you, dude, but the two cops are probably it's hard to pick, but New Bomb's my favorite, but probably second would be those two cops.
The fat cop?
Oh,
because
dude.
He's such an ass.
Dude, he cracks me up. He's got the best lines. His partner draws that. How do you think I look with a mustache or whatever? He draws that little mustache in.
Right.
And he goes, how do I look? He's like, you look like a perfect horse's ass. Or something. I don't know. I probably didn't deliver that right. But he's always saying like horse shit, or he's got the best lines. I don't know. He's always just, he's just funnier as hell. And then the other guy's like, he's just a bumbling idiot. Yeah,
it's Officer Bimbo, right?
Bimbo, yeah. And that would crack me up too. It's like, I thought he was just joking with him when he kept calling him Bimbo. Bimbo,
because going back to the punch. Remember they called him over to taste the punch. Here, have some of this punch.
Yeah,
and he
taste
goes,
this, officer. Tell me if you taste something different. I think they spiked the punch or something. Or no, I guess she says it afterwards.
And he goes, he says, it does have a little wang
to it. I love that one, man. That was like, dude, I don't know. I cracked up so hard. And I always remembered that scene. But the other best part of it, you got New Bomb Turk banging on the window, and they think, yeah, whatever, they're kids out there, whatever. And he keeps pointing down and saying, my dick in the punch, my dick. and then the other favorite part is that old guy kept saying, this scene, he goes, is there a... Oh, wait, he goes, somebody named Dick here? There's somebody... Is somebody... Oh, man. Oh, voice. I'm losing my voice. But, is somebody named Dick here? Is somebody looking for a dick? I don't know, man. That guy cracks me up, though. That old guy, that guy was hilarious. The lady says, I got it, Nevins. They spiked the punch. But she didn't realize that it was piss in the punch. She didn't know what they spiked it with. But then you got the old pranks. You got the shit on fire in a paper bag or whatever. That was funny. What's some of the other ones? We should talk, though. This is set in 1965. I think I said that already. But what's awesome about this movie is they have all kinds of music from like from 65 to late 50s in this movie. It's like spread out through the whole thing, and I was surprised how many hit songs they threw in this movie. I mean, it only had a budget of, oh gosh, it was a $4 million budget, and it only did, it did 10 million, so it didn't look, it did 10 million. But I think now, I mean, as far as what I was doing research on it, I mean, it's got a huge like cult following. So why they haven't like I'm surprised Shout Factory or somebody hasn't put out a nice special edition on it, because it does have a big cult following. What other parts do you like? What's another part that you want to talk about, Steve?
And I love like even the very beginning of the movie where the chicks are sunbathing, and he's got his like camera out, and they catch him, and he does that little wave, and sticks his tongue out, and they're all trying to cover up their boobs, and I mean, it starts off or like right away with just like a prank. Like the movie starts off just that way, but
I mean, with the hand hanging out the car, like and I mean every. Scaring that old lady. I like too when they locked Bimbo in the bathroom. Oh, I love that one. I love that. Oh, this is about the time he takes a shit or something, or has to.
I don't remember
either. But they knew what time he has to go number 2. They knew that, so they.
Yeah, they flooded they jammed up the toilet, and then they locked him in there, and then
unscrewed.
The waters rise in, and he drops his nightstick and his gun or whatever, and they
unscrewed the handle,
the door handle,
so it would pop off when he tried to get it, and then they stacked all that garbage out front of it. Oh man! Oh yeah, and then his partner comes and he shoots through the door trying to get it open. But when he drew that pencil mustache and he's singing, remember when he was singing Lawrence of Arabia?
Yeah, they're like, there's no words to that.
Came to fight the Turkish. He was an Englishman or something. Oh man, that was too much. But that little pencil mustache that he drew on, that was funny. The other part that go ahead.
I was going to say, remember that joke that New Bomb, he had, I think it was like shortly around that Lawrence Arabia scene, he's like, did you hear about the man with the 5 penises? His pants fit like a glove.
Yeah. He was, and then Dudley, we got to go with Dudley is a big star in this. He's just this nerdy guy that's trying to get to the high school event to play his violin and then do like a magic trick for the talent show. And what happens is New Bomb and the guys, they kidnap him or whatever to take his jacket so they can, but they're always nice to him whenever they do it a couple times. And then they go crash the gym first. The gym, yeah, that's right.
Right.
And that's pep rally.
Yes, and he does the farts.
Yeah, he starts singing what Valerie or Valor?
Volare.
Yeah, Volare. That's it. Gosh, he starts singing that Volare and then starts farting with it the whole time before the cops start chasing around. He bolts out and. Of course, Fran Drescher's like, "That's New Bomb Turk."
You also forgot about
what else?
You forgot about the scene that where he finally gets Fran Drescher and he's getting ready to.
Oh yeah, that was coming up because he hasn't hooked up with her yet because she was in the audience there, but yeah. Let's talk about that scene.
She like strips down to like her bra and panties. They're in his car. I forget what he called it. He had a name for it.
Yeah. Oh gosh, what was that? That was his brother's car.
Something like that. Yeah. But they're they're in the car. She's in the back seat, and she's like, "Come on, new bomb." She's like, "I'm so hot."
Come take me, new
Yeah.
mom. Oh,
And then,
I'm so hot and bothered.
and that Fran Drescher voice, and then he goes. Then all of a sudden, he acts like he's not interested. Oh no, I can't. And she's like, "What's the matter?" She's like,
You
"Did
mean
you
you
come?"
Did you come, new mom? Don't tell me. He goes, yeah, and then he's a little, maybe, whatever. Then he's like, you know what? I'm happy I came. Blah blah blah. Oh man, that was funny. That was hilarious. You so immature, new mom.
That's something that would have happened to me. That's for sure.
Oh man, yeah, that was a funny scene there. We got to talk about the one-armed violinist. Even though it's such a stupid joke, it was funny. You want me to explain it?
Yeah, go ahead. Because you thought it was funny and I didn't.
Well, that's what I mean. Okay, so he comes in there for this talent contest, and he's the one-armed violinist, and I think his name's like Sasha Dubinsky or whatever. One of the Hollywood Knights that thinks he's James Dean, and Newbaum. They come out. Newbaum sits at the piano. The one-armed violinist, which is the other Hollywood Knight, takes his violin, strums the violin real sloppily, and then takes the bow down and takes a bow. But when he takes his bow down, he acts like his penis. He's got his finger through his pants, looking like he's grabbing it with his penis, the bow. And what was funny to me in that part was the old guy again going, because he couldn't tell it was a finger, and he was just like, he grabbed it with his dick. And that just, the old man's face is priceless in that scene, and that's what made it not so stupid, because that old guy just so that's why I thought that scene, I could look at that guy's face too and laugh the whole time. And that old guy was funny. Even though I take a multivitamin, I also like to take superfoods. And the best superfood I found on the market that tastes just amazing is Brick House Nutrition Field of Greens. Real organic superfood. 1 scoop of Field of Greens gives you the full spectrum of colors with fruits, veggies, herbs, spices, and more. Helps with your overall well-being by aiding in antioxidation, lipid metabolism, and glucose metabolism. Since Field of Greens is made from real foods, it's technically not a supplement. This is just pure whole foods, guys, and you can get a discount right now by using coupon code HEALTHYLIFE. Just plug that coupon HEALTHYLIFE before checkout in the coupon section and get our exclusive discount. You have to try Field of Greens from BrickHouseNutrition.com. But they pretty much threw in about everything they could. I mean, there was a lot of, the spot where they pulled over to change. It's private or something, it's
right.
Under a tree, but Newbaum and them knew what time and where to be, and they were hanging in the tree. And then, of course, Officer Bimbo catches them in the tree after they take off, and he's always got the best lines. Like, you squirrels better have some nuts. Or, wait.
Yeah, and Bimbo comes up there and he goes, he says, "Let me tell you butthole something."
Yeah, butthole.
This shit's way out of this shit's way out of line, and you squirrels better have some nuts in your mouth or you're going downtown.
Yeah. I love it.
Remember, it was one of the last scenes. Remember, and then the husband comes out, right, and
toupee.
Yeah,
hanging on.
And she goes, "Oh, the strangest thing happened. We were in the car talking, And the guy goes, and they knocked my pants off.
Yeah, they knocked my pants off. That was classic.
Then Turk told that joke. He says, "What do you get when you cross a monkey with a Bermuda onion? A piece of ass that brings tears to your eyes."
Hey, did you know there was a punk rock band over in your neck of the woods in Ohio named the
New Bomb Turks?
New Bomb Turks, yeah.
I didn't know that, and I saw it online, but it's pretty cool.
Columbus, Ohio. And then there's a Melt Bar and Grill in Lakewood, Ohio.
And I know where that's. I've been there, actually. Yeah.
Have you? Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's called the New Bomb Turkey Club. They named it after that, obviously. But, I thought that was awesome. It was pretty funny. Did you know Robert Wuhl, who plays the, New Bomb Turk? He was in Batman.
Yeah, he was. That was the first time I really remembered him.
Yeah.
He was Vicky Vale's, reporter partner.
Yeah. But, and I was looking for some of his other stuff. He was in an HBO series called Arliss.
Yeah, for a long time.
Yeah, I never seen that show. Did you?
I never watched it because it didn't look that interesting. Yeah. I forget what it was about, but it didn't look.
It's like he's like a sports something, but I guess it's funny, man. He wrote it and all that stuff, but he's a big sports fan. But he says it's more than just sports. But I'm gonna have to check it out. I'm gonna have to go back and check it out. But he was in a couple other movies that I haven't seen. One was Mistress in '92 with Robert De Niro. Blue Chips with Nick Nolte. Bull Durham he was in, and he was talking about all these movies. There's an interview online within the last couple years with him. Yeah, he's 70 now. But he goes into detail, all kinds of stuff, all the people he worked with and all that stuff. Did you know he wrote two, there was only 6 episodes of Police Squad. I can't believe there's only 6 episodes.
I have my DVD, yeah.
Yeah, me too. But he wrote 2 of those. He wrote a bunch of jokes for other comedians and everything else. So the he's funnier than heck, but he had some, I don't know, something about his smile and stuff. It just cracks you up, He's got one of those faces.
Yeah.
So he's still alive. So that's good. I was happy to find that out when I was checking some stuff out. In 2015, he portrayed himself on American Dad. Anyway, he's got a bunch of television appearances. Blah blah blah.
No, I mean, it's just like a slapstick movie. There's not really a whole lot to really say. It's to sit there and try to retell all the jokes. It's kind of hard, but yeah, I mean, essentially, like I said, it's Halloween night, and they're Tubby's drive-in's going to close, and so all this stuff happens, and then of course at the end, everybody's, one guy's going out to Vietnam, this person's going here, Michelle Pfeiffer's going to go ahead and follow her dream, and then the lights shut off at Tubby's drive-in, and it's the end of the movie, essentially.
Yeah, I mean, there's just
I mean, they put a little bit of a story in there, but at the end of the day, that period of time.
Oh no!
And
you did it. You used the line.
What's that?
You used the line. I can't stand.
What's that?
The end of the day.
Right. Well, I mean, okay. So what it all boils down to? How's that?
Yeah. There you go.
Is that it was one of those movies from that era. And really, I mean, they made tons of movies like this, like Meatballs and Animal House, where there's a very, very loose story, and it's really not even a very well thought out story. The movies just all revolved around stupidity and gags and titties and people running around naked in their underwear and just whatever. That's it's just supposed to be, an hour and a half of just stupidity and stupid jokes. And, I don't really think anybody really cared about, Michelle Pfeiffer becoming an actress. I mean, honestly, Tony Danza and Michelle Pfeiffer's, there was no point of them being in the movie. I mean, I really don't think there was any point whatsoever of them being in the movie.
Well, they were my least favorite of the movie. I mean, because it was like, I don't need to see any drama in this.
Well, when you think about it, though, you could literally take out every scene that they were in, and it wouldn't have changed the movie at all. Yeah,
I mean, they were basically just they just wanted it to be like, okay, now he goes hangs out with his friend for the last time. She's the little, what do you call those people at the roller rink, or not roller rinks? Those outdoor,
a car hop.
Yeah, car hop. Yeah, and then in the end, they straighten things out. But yeah, you didn't need it. It was a Hollywood Nights. Who cares? I would have rather seen Tony Danza out there being a prankster or something. That would have been kind of funny.
Yeah, instead of like the little
melodrama. Yeah, just too much drama in that aspect. But yeah,
although I don't think that Tony Danza could have. I don't think he could have pulled off the comedy though that well. I mean, he was in Who's the, but he's. I don't really think he's that comical of a guy, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I don't know.
He was in Taxi. He was in Who's the Boss, but I just don't see. He's just not that kind of he's not that kind of comedy guy, like the titty pranks and talking about his penis type of a guy. He's just not that kind of comedian type of guy. So I don't think it would have went over that well.
One of the jokes. Okay, Officer Clark goes, Don't you think I'd look good in a mustache? And Bimbo goes, "You'd be perfect. You'd be a perfect horse's ass." That's what it was.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That one kid, that little skateboard kid. He goes, when he called him, when he said, "You little son of a bitch," and then he attacked Dudley.
The kid that always had the cigarettes in his pocket.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. I don't know, just something about Bimbo's, the way he delivers a line is just so funny. And Dudley, he goes, "Don't hurt me. I think I may be a bleeder." Remember, he's getting. They get a call about New Bomb Turk farting all over the stage, and they think it's Dudley, and they go attack him. Bimble's
right.
He's having an asthma attack on the ground, and the chief or whatever shows up. "What are you doing, Bimbo?" And he says, "This guy was farting all over the stage." "That's not him." God, it was just so funny. It was just stuff like that. Just, I don't know, just cracks me up. I can watch movies like that all the time. Just stupid stuff like that. I think the modern comedy ones that they put out, a lot of them, they're just way stupid. Like they try to be sarcastic or something. They have this weird sense of humor now. And this movie's like totally it's just funny. There's a lot of guy jokes, but it's like now you'd have to tiptoe around a lot of that shit,
Oh yeah, I mean, there was quite a few scenes in there they probably couldn't put into a movie nowadays.
Yeah, and that's why I enjoy watching these type of movies. There was just a whole slew of teenage, comedy. Well, they called them teenage sex comedies, I guess. But that was a big part of the '80s. But they were funnier than crap, man. Oh yeah, and then we got to talk about. So Dudley, in the end, thinks he's going to get laid, calls his mom, and, of course, she passes out. She goes, "Mother, I'm not coming home." He kind of gains he gains enough respect from the Knights because he's been tortured all night, them taking his clothes and, doing these hijinks and whatever. That the one guy throws Dudley a Hollywood Night jacket, kind of makes him an honorary member.
Yeah, it was the guy leaving for Vietnam, right?
Yeah,
Gave him his jacket.
Guy. Yeah.
So, do you honestly believe that little guy's jacket was gonna fit on his fat ass?
No,
but it did, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, nah.
Yeah, that's true. Unless that guy wears extra large.
I wear an extra large. I'm not a fat ass.
Well, whatever. We forgot about the other 4 guys that were running, and they got they met up with these. They met up at the station, and they talked. These guys, these black dudes, were hanging outside the station smoking some weed, and they asked them if they could do them a favor and get the Hollywood Nights a dedication onto the DJ or whatever. And they end up going in, asking the DJ if they could put on the dedication, and they got the dedication on, and they made it back to Tubby's and became a Hollywood Night. But it was a good ending. I mean, yeah, they maybe could have made another. I'm surprised they didn't make another one, actually.
Well, and it didn't make any money. That's why they didn't make another one.
Because they could have made one, just a different hangout.
I mean, because it netted what? It netted $4 million, right?
No, that was their budget.
No, well, I thought it was it? I thought it was $6 million was their budget. Or was it $4 million?
Well, $4 million, and then it made 10.
Oh, so it made $6 million. I mean, which, versus what did like a movie like Porky's make? I mean, I'm sure that made like massive amounts of money. So Porky's had a budget of $2.5 million.
Really?
And it grossed $111 million.
Holy cow!
So that's why the Hollywood Nights
wow
didn't get a sequel. Well, yeah, opening weekend, Porky's made $7.6 million. So
why does it say on here Porky's budget was $7.8 million and it made $20 million at the box office? Where are you looking?
I'm looking at IMDb.
Oh, I'm looking at Porky's Revenge. My fault. Okay, yeah. Wrong Porky's. Well, yeah, and then that's why they made 4 Porky's, I guess. Oh, no, 3 Porky's, right? Porky's 1, Porky's 2, Porky's Revenge. Yeah, okay.
I think I've only seen Porky's 1 and 2.
I mean, I don't know which one I like better, but Porky's cracked me up. It did. Especially Ballbreaker and
Miss Ballbreaker.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the whole.
I mean, Porky's was more raunchy for sure.
Yeah, with the hole.
Yeah,
and
sticking their wang in the hole.
But there was more. I think there was more seriousness in Porky's, because remember they all got beat up and all that stuff, and they were coming back to get Porky, and I don't know. We'll have to watch that again sometime. But yeah, either way, I can't say. I can't say either way right now because I haven't watched Porky's in a while.
Yeah, I haven't either.
So I'm gonna have to check that one out again. I know I got them all on DVD, but I totally recommend watching Hollywood Nights. I love Hollywood Nights. I think it is a cult classic. I'll be honest with you, man. It's a great movie just to have a couple drinks with, and relax and just put on and just be entertained. You don't have to think about it. It's just good fun from the 80s. But it's supposed to be set in 65. I mean,
right.
It's a 65 movie, but it's a movie from the 80s. That's why I was a little confused about too, because at first I thought it was supposed to be from the 50s, but there was it was a mixed bag of music, so it got me confused. And then they didn't have the greasy hair, so I was like, no, something ain't right. So it is, it was right before, the late 60s and the whole.
Yeah, I don't know what the time frame was, but for like the the earliest songs to whatever what was recent, whatever. But I mean, there were so many popular ones in that they played, like Under the Boardwalk and Big Girls Don't Cry, Sherry, Surfing USA, California Dreamin', I think was on there. Heat Wave, I remember them playing. Wooly Bully, that was playing on there.
Yep.
Surf City, and
there's so much on there.
Yeah,
it seems like that would be most of their budget, clearing all those songs.
That's probably what it was, honestly.
Man, yeah, because most of them, it was their first role, so they probably didn't get paid that much. Hey, Retro Media Talk listeners, we have a special for you. If you want to get 10% off at Zavvi.com, ZAVVI.com, and check out my exclusive coupon code, Steve-R, that's the letter R, 45U, and that's the letter U. So Steve-R45U. Zavvi carries a wide range of pop culture merchandise, everything from exclusive Blu-rays, all kinds of gaming stuff, music, anime, Funko, Hasbro, Lago, all kinds of brands, all kinds of horror stuff. And the best part about it is they got a flat rate shipping. $5.99 flat rate shipping. Zavvi, ZAVVI.com. Use my coupon code, get 10% off. Steve-R, that's the letter R, 45U, and that's the letter U. So Steve-R45U. You guys are going to love shopping at Zavvi.
But yeah, I mean, it's definitely. If you haven't seen the movie, I'd say check it out. I mean, don't. We did a horrible job of reviewing because we just poorly told some of the jokes, and there's really not a whole lot of plot to the movie. So if you listen to this podcast, you'd be like, I don't even know if I want to see this movie because I don't even know what the movie's really about. It doesn't sound like it's that interesting, but it's interesting. It's good to check it out. It's got some funny stuff,
and it's set on Halloween night, so a bunch of gags.
They didn't, but you know what? For it being Halloween, you figured there would have been a little bit more interesting stuff going. Like, you didn't see a whole lot of costumes.
No,
and
they should have
stuff like that.
Yeah, they could have threw in more costumes. I mean, the only costume was that wolf mask, and they had a pumpkin. They had a pumpkin out there.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have known it was Halloween night if they wouldn't have said something. So it would have, you should have seen kids going down the sidewalk with their costumes, and you didn't see any of that. But yeah, I mean, all in all, I mean, it's worth checking out. If nothing else, to see Tony Danza and Michelle Pfeiffer super young. One of their first really big roles. So I mean, it's kind of cool to see that, I guess. But it's not. It's definitely not up to. I mean, in my opinion, it's not as funny as Animal House or Police Academy or Caddyshack. It's good, but it's not that level. You know what I mean? Of course, all those movies I just mentioned, they had star power, right? They had all the They had
I don't know, man. I think the acting was really good in Hollywood Nights. So I mean, the delivery and of the jokes. I'd have to watch those other ones again because I haven't seen Animal House. I haven't seen Caddyshack in a long time. But I mean, I love all those movies.
For the most part, myself, I'm not a big comedy guy because I just don't find a lot of the stuff that funny in most comedies. And what was funny, it was funny one time, but it's not going to be funny the second time, type of a thing. So even some of the classics, Vacation and stuff like that. There's a couple funny things in it, but for the most part, I mean, comedies aren't really rewatchable. You know what I mean? Because once you've heard a joke, you know the punchline.
Yeah, you know the punchline, but I don't know. Something about comedies for me, I can watch I can watch them easier than most movies because even though I know the joke, I guess hearing it again, easier for me to watch that and laugh again than watching like a drama again. For me, comedies are rewatchable. But I know your point, but
if it's physical comedy, it's totally watchable.
Yeah,
like
I
when you
love
get like some
physical
big fat guy like Chris Farley falling and breaking a table, or
Right.
falling off a roof, or the Three Stooges. That's physical comedy where people are getting hurt and making asses of themselves. That's why I love Jackass, because it's just so stupid.
Yeah.
Physical comedy, and that you can watch over and over and over again and crack
well,
up.
it's like Three's Company, man. I mean, Jack Tripper. I mean, he literally was a king of like physical comedy. That dude had some talent, and he'd crack me up all the time because he just constantly, there's some kind of, I don't know how they did it. He had a talent for physical comedy. You know what I'm talking about? Did you watch Three's Company?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Falling over sofas.
Yeah, I mean, he's always
this, that, and the other.
He's always just falling over something, or a door hitting him in the face, or something. Something's always happening.
Well, you know why he was so funny is because at the time nobody was doing it anymore but him, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it was
He kind of
big
brought
early.
it back. Yeah,
He brought it back. Yeah.
Yeah, who was the big besides Three Stooges? I mean, there was
Jerry Lewis, when he was young, he was a big slapstick guy.
Didn't Dick Van Dyke? He had some physical comedy. He was pretty good. Did you ever watch that?
He's still alive. Good God!
What?
I just seen a video. These people were hanging outside of his apartment, and they're like, "Mr. Van Dyke, how you doing?" And he goes, "I'm just happy to be alive. I'm happy to be here." But he was like, he was going to take a walk. I mean, he seemed like in pretty good shape. He's like 91 or something, and he's still alive.
Oh,
it's
man.
Crazy.
I'm just looking him up right now.
He could still walk without a walker or a cane, and he was talking, and he seemed like he was in pretty good health.
Well, my mom, I mean, she used to watch that show. I didn't give it a chance.
The Dick
when
Van
I was
Dyke
young,
Show?
Yeah, when I was younger. But then I ended up buying the set because I was like, I watched a few episodes and I was like, this is damn good. This is funnier than I thought.
Was it funny, or was it you appreciate it because it's something from maybe your childhood and you?
No, it was actually funny. I streamed it on something and I was surprised. The stories were really good. But I mean, he is literally a funny dude. I mean, as far as just his whole physicality, what he did. There was a lot of, I don't know. You have to check it out. Those and his neighbors and everything. They had a funny cast, but
yeah, I mean, I haven't seen an episode of Dick Van Dyke in 20 years easy. Yeah, I'd have to go back and look for sure.
Yeah, you should check it out. It's weird, going back and discovering shows that you didn't think you'd have any interest later on watching. It's kind of cool.
Oh yeah, for sure. I love a lot of the old comedies. I love the Ozzie and Harriet show and different things like that.
Well, I guess we should wrap it up on Hollywood.
Wrap it up.
Okay. All right, guys. Well, thanks for listening to Retro Media Talk podcast. Like we've said in the past, you can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Amazon Music. In fact, if you have an Alexa device, you can just tell Alexa, say, Alexa, play Retro Media Talk podcast, and she'll play the podcast. And then you can tell her to play whatever episode you want. Otherwise, she'll just play the newest episode that comes up. And we're on a few other outlets like Red Circle, Anchor FM. So find us there, check it out. Please, subscribe to us on one of those platforms, or find us on YouTube and subscribe to my YouTube channel, KRAZETV, at KRAZETV on there too.
With a K.
With a K, yeah. I always forget to tell people that. KRAZETV with a K. Thank you for that. Thanks for listening, guys. We will talk to you soon. Any last words, Steve?
Yes.
Yes?
None whatsoever.
So go watch the Hollywood Nights
All
if
right.
you haven't seen it. All right. See ya. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hey, guys. Steve's not on here anymore, but I just want to do a shout-out because when this podcast comes out on Monday, August 29th, it will be Steve Lago's birthday. So happy birthday, Steve. And I want to dedicate the Hollywood Nights podcast to his father, who is no longer with us. Since he was a huge fan of Hollywood Nights, this goes out into cyberspace as a dedication to him. So happy birthday, Steve. This is for your dad. I hope you have an awesome birthday.